Is having a good day. I know that things are not normal today and for the past while because of the coronavirus. But hopefully you are making the best of it, and we can talk a little bit about that also. But today's Facebook Live is about avoiding common mistakes in divorce. And I'd love you to share any kind of questions or comments that you have. You can post them here. And I guess the reason I'm doing this is because divorce is one of the most stressful life events. And to get the support that you need is very important. And I'm trying to provide some of that support. I also would like people in the group to support each other. And the group is going to have more and more members. We're publicizing it starting this week. So hopefully you guys can find support from each other, and I can provide some facilitation of that support. So um, one of the first things I wanted to talk about in terms of common mistakes is when people are going through the process of divorce. They really don't know how to do it. So they hire a lawyer, and then the other spouse hires a lawyer, and they communicate through their lawyers, and the bills start running up. And that's probably not the best way to start the process of divorce for most people. Unless you have unlimited funds, then, of course, you can do it that way. But if you don't have unlimited funds, one of the best ways is to start with a mediator. It doesn't mean you can't have your own lawyer, but you can use a mediator that will sit down with you and your soon to be ex and will discuss all the issues that you need to come to agreement on. And the mediator will provide a structured format for you guys to work through all these issues. And you don't have to pay a lawyer every time you want to communicate with each other. And the more things that you can do on your own, the better. So a mediator is a real great way to start out. Now, not everybody can use a mediator. If there's been any domestic violence or some addiction and mental health issues, that wouldn't be the best situations for working through a mediator. But when you have a mediator, you can still have your own attorney. The mediator's job is to help you come to an agreement and write up the agreement in a document, and then you can take that document and show it to your lawyer, or you can use your lawyer as a consultant throughout the process. But you use the lawyer sparingly, and both of you paying one mediator is significantly less expensive than each of you paying your attorneys who are talking to each other. So, for example, if you have something that you want to talk to your attorney about, they charge you for that time. Then the attorney writes up something, sends it to the other attorney, they charge you for that time. Then the other attorney reads it, talks to the other your soon to be ex about it, they charge you for that time. And then the soon to be ex talks to their attorney, and they charge you for that time. So it's significantly more money and expense when you do it that way versus when you start working with a mediator. So if there's any questions about that, please let me know, because that's a lot of people don't really understand the whole process, and it's and then a lot of people threaten going to court if they can't come to an agreement with the mediator. And yes, that is sometimes what you have to do if somebody is not willing to be reasonable. But it really, once you go to court, the fees just escalate. So going to court with attorneys can be anywhere from 25,000 to 100,000 or more in expense. Whereas if you're with a mediator, you can do it for as little as 6,000 to 8,000 up to about 20,000 is the really expensive time. So it's really just from a cost perspective, it's significantly less, but also because you have to work together going forward if you have children. So mediation is usually a friendlier way to go about the process. I mean, it depends on the lawyer. Some lawyers are great and they can work together and they encourage you to work together. But there are some lawyers out there that really just want to make money. And if one of you gets one of those attorneys, I mean, I've seen clients go through their 401ks paying for their attorney fees. It's really horrible. So that's one of the big mistakes that people make is, just in anger, you are angry and you want to, stick it to your ex and you end up hiring a lawyer and it's not necessarily the best option. I do recommend people have an initial meeting with an attorney before you go through the process, just to answer all of your questions. And, I can also do that as a divorce coach. I wouldn't be giving legal answers, but I can help people initially to figure out what process they want to pursue. So that's a big common mistake. And another mistake is thinking you have to be enemies with your ex. And that is really a difficult place to be in during a divorce because it just doesn't feel good. Somebody you were married to and had children with, just to be, really confrontational and enemies and not. And I know in the beginning it's really hard not to be adversarial. But the more you can empathize with your ex, the better, because each of you are going through your own emotions and they may be right or wrong, but that's what you're going through. So if you can empathize with the other, it will help you not to create this, adversarial relationship. And so that's another thing to avoid while you're going through divorce. Okay, so then there's these high conflict divorces. And Bill Eddy, he started the High Conflict Institute, and he wrote a book, 5 Types of People That Can Ruin Your Life. And it's about people in general who are high conflict people, but in divorce, it has even more significant implications. And this is the way that he's developed to respond to people who are high conflict people. It's called BIFF. So it's brief. So keep it short. Typically, if you're writing, it's just a paragraph. That's how you respond to these high conflict people. This is even when the comment you're responding to goes on and on for many paragraphs or pages or texts. It leaves much less for the other person to react to and is often sufficient to get your main point across. So keep it as brief as possible. You don't have to respond to anything that you don't really need to respond to. So they can accuse you of things, or they can, stick things, little like triggers that get you upset. But I would just ignore all of that and only respond to what you really have to respond to. The I is for informative. Give some straight information rather than emotions, opinions, defenses, or arguments. I can't tell you how many times I see clients do this with, because I do a lot of co-parenting counseling, and they're defending themselves. And it's like, you're not going to be married anymore. You do not have to defend yourself. You can think your thing, your ex can think what do they think, and it's fine. So don't defend yourself. Especially when another person's being hostile. It's not about you, it's about their inability to manage their emotions and responses. Just stay focused on providing relevant information. So the first F, BIFF, brief, informative, and then the first F is friendly. This may seem hard to do when you're being attacked in writing or verbally. But it avoids feeding the hostilities, and it may even calm an upset person. So no matter what is coming at you, your response should be friendly. And that takes a lot of self-control to do. But if you do some deep breathing, because you're going to get a better response if you're friendly. Just a friendly greeting and closing, nothing too involved, and it helps keep the hostilities from escalating, and it shows that you have good self-restraint. So it's really important to try to do this. And the last F is firm. And this means that you end the conversation rather than feeding the hostility. So once it's getting to a place where you know that person is not going to stop being hostile, you just got to end it. And it doesn't mean being harsh. It's just avoiding anything that opens the door to more hostile comments. So it's like if you're, you're realizing that you have to stop the conversation, you can say, you know what, I have to run. We can talk about this another time. I'll talk to you later, and hang up. So you don't have to say, you're being an asshole. Like you don't have to be hostile back. You have to be friendly back, but firm. Sometimes you'll need a response from the other person. So just ask a yes or no question. Like by such and such time and such date, please let me know, and end in a friendly note. So I want to read one of these emails as an example. This is somebody named Joe's email. Jane, I can't believe you are so stupid to think that I'm going to let you take the children to your boss's birthday party during my parenting time. Have you no memory of the last 6 conflicts we've had about my parenting time? Or are you having an affair with him? I always knew you would do anything to get ahead. In fact, I remember coming to your office party, witnessing you making a total fool of yourself, including flirting with everybody from the CEO down to the delivery guy. Are you a high on something? Haven't you gotten your finances together enough to support yourself yet without flinging yourself at every Tom, Dick, and Harry? Okay, so that's a hostile email. And this is Jane's response. And this is hard. I'm not saying this is easy, but this is Jane's response. Thank you for responding to my request to take the children to my office party. Just to clarify, the party will be from 3 to 5 on Friday at the office, and there will be approximately 30 people there, including several other parents bringing school-aged children. There will be no alcohol, as it is a family-oriented firm, and there will be family-oriented activities. I think it will be a good experience for them to see me at my workplace. With this information, I hope you will reconsider. Please let me know by Thursday at 5 p.m. if you change your mind. Thanks. Now, this is it sounds kind of difficult and funny because, you're responding to someone who's hostile in such a business-like way, but it really is the way to handle these high conflict people, because defending yourself or being hostile back or anything that you feel like doing is just going to escalate the situation. That's what they want. They want to fight with you. They want to get you into a fight with them. And to respond back in a completely neutral way with just information, brief information, and friendly, you're going to get a better response and a better relationship. You may not ever be able to get to a better relationship with some people, but some people do eventually get over their anger and have good relationships with their exes, even when it didn't start out that way. So I'd like to take a look and see if there is any questions, if you don't mind. I've been giving you a bunch of information so far, and I understand that some of you may have some questions. So let's see. So these high conflict people, like I said, some people are like that, and they don't change and they stay like that. But other people actually do become less angry, and things improve. So, okay. So let me get back to my screen. And so then the other mistakes that I wanted to mention, if there are no more questions about high conflict people, is the idea about going to court. And some people, you do have to go to court, but you don't, you want to make it as limited as possible. There are other options other than going to court, and mediation. This is, later on when you've tried other things and it's like a last resort. And obviously I've talked about mediation, but you can also do co-parenting counseling, which is something I do with couples who are struggling about many issues with their children, like, custody, or if a parent moves and things change. Like I've had families where when they were, the kids were young and they weren't in school, they could do, week on, week off. And then, once the like the child started kindergarten, first grade, you couldn't really do a week on, week off when a parent who didn't live near the school. So they had to change things. So, we would come together, and there's a lot of anger there. So, it's very easy to go to court and get a lawyer and talk about your side. But when you sit in a room, or I do a lot on video, which it works really well because you're not in a room with your ex, which is difficult for people when they're going through this. When you're on video with each other and you hear, you know, I, as a professional, allow people to talk to each other and listen to each other, you can come up with some creative solutions when you get over that, you know, angry conflict back and forth. And I have a lot of parents who are not high conflict people, but they feel very stressed and desperate to see their children because they don't see them as much as they want to. Most parents who have shared custody want to see their children more than they do. So there's a desperation there, but they're not high conflict people, and they just want something that's fair. So if you work with a co-parenting counselor, sometimes you can get through those things. So that's what I would say is another mistake, just going to court about every little thing that happens when you don't agree, and it doesn't make any sense, because you should really try to work things through. You're not going to get everything you want, but you're going to get some things that you want, and if you prioritize what you want, you can be okay with that. So that's pretty much what I had for today, and if I hope it was helpful, and I hope that I'm going to do more of these Facebook Lives coming in the weeks coming forward and going forward. And I'd love you to let me know what you'd want me to do them on. If you have some questions, please let me know, either private message me or write them in the group. And please invite people to join the group, because we're going to be doing more and more of these types of things and giving you more information. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Take care.